So 5 years from now, will you look back and say, money tore us apart? Or will you say, learning how to handle money together made us stronger? And the difference, it's not going to be your income. It won't be the economy. And it probably won't be your debt level, although it could be. Your unity will be the measuring stick. See, Jesus said in Matthew 6:21, for where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. So if money has your heart pulling in different directions, your marriage is going to feel that tension. But it doesn't have to stay that way. All right, so today I want to show you 3 things. 1, why money triggers you so deeply. And then 2, whether you're actually financially incompatible. And then 3, how to move from fighting about money to building unity with it. All right, so I want to show you something. When we moved to this farm in 2021, we did a lot of renovations. We tore out old stuff and we rebuilt things that weren't solid. And this hammer was used to demo and it was used to build. Same hammer, 2 different outcomes. The hammer wasn't the problem. The purpose behind it determined what happened with the hammer. So money works the same way in marriage. Money isn't the villain. Money is simply a tool. It can tear down trust or it can build unity. It can create tension or it can fund vision like we did here. Money is just simply an amplifier. It doesn't create the heart condition. It simply reveals it. So when couples fight about money, they're rarely fighting about numbers. They're fighting about security or control or provision or identity or fear, all those things. That's why it feels so intense. So for some of you, money equals safety. If the savings drops, anxiety rises. Happens with Bonnie a little bit. Not because you're dramatic, but because stability feels like protection. For others, money equals control. If everything's tracked and predictable, you feel calm. When it's not, you feel exposed, you feel vulnerable, you feel out of control. And then for some, money ties directly to identity, being a provider, being responsible, being independent. When finances feel unstable, it feels personal. You take it personally. So when money feels threatened, your nervous system reacts like your future's threatened. And that's why small purchases turn into massive big arguments. Now, here's the next fear that a lot of couples have. You start wondering, are we just financially incompatible? Can we ever work this out? One of you saves naturally and then the other spends freely. That's the way Bonnie and I were. When we first got married, I was the spender, she was the saver. One of you checks the accounts daily and then the other just avoids it completely. And you think, did I marry the wrong person? Let me reassure you, differences don't divide marriages. Lack of alignment divides marriages. So unity doesn't mean sameness. It means a shared direction. Believe me, you want someone different than you. You don't need to be the same. You don't need identical money personalities either. You need shared values, shared priorities, shared submission, shared vision. And when 2 people are moving towards the same mission, differences become strengths instead of threats. All right, so let me answer this question for you. How do you actually stop fighting and start rebuilding unity in your marriage? Don't do it with a hammer. First, you need to clarify your financial vision. All right, so what are we building? What kind of life are we trying to create? So what do we want our money to accomplish? It's your money together. And if you don't define what your money's for, culture will, right? Dave Ramsey used to say, if you don't find a home for every penny, it'll find its own. Second, you need to create a monthly unity meeting, not just a budget meeting, but a unity meeting. Celebrate wins, review spending, adjust your goals, pray together, talk about fears instead of letting them just kind of simmer and be there. All right, and here's the third thing. put the hammer in both hands and don't hit each other with it. And neither spouse should carry the financial responsibility alone. There should be transparency. There should be shared access, shared decisions. Even if one of you handles all the details, both of you need to carry ownership. And that's very difficult for the person whose hands aren't in the finances, who's not paying the bills, who's not keeping the checkbook. We don't really use those anymore. But that's very difficult because out of sight sometimes equals out of mind. But you need to come together and help carry that load together. Don't just put it on that one person. And then finally, name the fear. Money fights shrink when fear is exposed, and it helps you connect as a couple. If you're afraid of not having enough, say it. If you're afraid of being controlled, say it. If you're afraid of failing as a provider, then share that and say it with your spouse, to your spouse. Peace doesn't come from bigger accounts. It's never going to be big enough. It comes from surrendered hearts. But here's where most couples get stuck. They learn how to stop fighting, but they never decide what they're building together. You can have a shared budget and still feel disconnected if you don't have a shared mission. So, money only unifies a marriage when it's pointed towards something bigger than comfort. So if you don't just want peace about money, but purpose with it, I want you to check out our Marriage on Mission mini course. In that course, I walk you through how to define what God is calling your marriage to build so your money becomes fuel and not friction between the two of you. Because when you know what you're rebuilding together, money stops dividing you and it starts driving you forward. So I want you to click the link below in the description box and grab that course and take it and be on the journey to being in one mind and one purpose with your money. I'll see you there.